Hey guys, it's QuickyBaby bringing you a new 7.5 map port, which is meant to be situated in a North American city. The map is rather large by the feel of it. There's lots of indestructible cover, as can be seen here, which is quite surprising, as it's in the cap circle, so there should be opportunity for people to use that to avoid fire while capping. So the south and the north of the map are very heavily built up building areas, which have to be learnt, as there's quite a few gaps which are in between some of the buildings, but some of the areas are completely closed off and can't be flanked, so knowing this map well will be paramount. So after playing this map a few times, it keeps reminding me of Ensk, with a heavily built up area, stereotypical train tracks, and an open area which allows passing shots. So I'm playing this map with viewers of my live stream. We all explored it together and we were having discussion about what we thought about it. So we can see here we're going into the southeastern part of the map, which looks like a aggregate dumping ground. It provides undulations and some cover from range, but no cover from artillery. Quite a few of the medium tanks like to rush here and fight it out. I'm not sure if that's just because the colour that it is on the mini-map, and on the test server no one really knows where to go yet. But yeah, there should be some interesting spots to camp here and stop people from coming over the open part of the map, over the train tracks. So as we can see here, you're able to shoot from one end to the other, obviously with the limitation of view range. So this will be a choke point on the map, or at least a death pass where you're going to take fire if you want to try and cross it if you haven't whittled down the enemy enough. So then we can see there's a lot of parked rail trains dividing up the north base, which should be very interesting to try and break through. The whole map's got quite an authentic feel to it. Although it still reminds me of Ensk, it is very much its own map within its own right. Here we can see that these pipes are unbreakable and should provide cover from fire. These pipes as well are unbreakable. Should be very interesting places to camp and to protect your spawn, as well as use all of the building possibilities. Some nice undulations here which you can use again to protect your spawn. Where artillery are going to go on this map, I'm not quite certain. They might just chill in base, and hopefully there'll be a line of scouts trying to keep an eye out for them. So generally what I found, guys, is that people who spawn at the north start by going west, and people who spawn at the south start by going east. So what happens is the people at the north follow this kind of a general route where they go west and then they go south to get to the opposition's base, whereas generally the people at the south go east and then north across the train tracks like you initially saw. That seems to be how it played out on the test server. I'm sure that as smarter players see this and realise this, then they're going to try and get into good counter positions to try and hold the locations to stop the enemy's advance. So now we're in the built up town area. We can see the surrounding skyline is filled by tower blocks and skyscrapers, whatever you want to call them. So again, this town needs to be learnt, as there are quite a few areas which cannot be passed through. For example here, it looks like there should have been a way through here, but there isn't. Trying to destroy the building just to test it out. So this gap coming up here I think is going to be a key choke point. because quite a lot of people are going to get funneled through here. I think this is one of the only breaches in the building line. Coming out of the choke point, you get quite nice cover from that mast, the base of the mast there. And again, we have the open area of the train tracks. So now we have the greenery, the green part of the map coming up, and we see that there's a bridge that bypasses all of that to allow you to cross over. However, from what I found on the test servers, the bridges are death traps, as you instantly become vulnerable to fire from both sides up onto the bridge. As you can see that the railings are not very high, so unless your tank is incredibly low profile like that ELC tier 5 French scout tank, then you're going to take massive fire from your left and your right as you cross. However, if you do manage to cross, maybe in a blitz using a fast tank or a couple of mediums, then you have great flanking opportunities. So maybe the risk will be worth the gain. It's up to you. You can be as ambitious as you want in this game, and it can either completely backfire or pay off. So we can see after we've passed over these undulations in the hills, this is the general way that the north would take to get into the southern side's base. We reach the edge of the map, but it's a lot quicker to get into their base along here than it is using the railroads and the trains that you have to dodge. There's almost a beeline along here, and then probably another choke point coming up. As you can see, this area on my right past this building is very open, and there's lots of opportunities using the buildings to protect your base. So there we go guys, that's the new map port. It's going to play out a lot like Ensk in my opinion. It'll be very interesting to see how this is played when it comes to release. Wargaming have done a brilliant job with all 3 of the new maps coming in 7.5, and they should add a lot of variety to the gameplay that we see and the tactics that each team employs to vanquish their enemy. So thanks a lot for watching my video guys, I hope you've enjoyed it, and if you want to see more 7.5 content, either check out my other videos or think about seeing my Twitch TV account, which has recordings of all the live streams that I did on the 7.5 test server with commentary from the audience. So if this video has been useful to you, please rate it at the bottom, and if you've agreed or disagreed with anything I've said, then feel free to leave a comment, and if you feel so inclined and you've liked this content enough, then think about subscribing so that you can see my future content.